What? And welcome to Chakra Light Radio. This is Juanine here, and I am your host. I'm so glad that you're here with us on Chakra Light. Chakra Light, which is connected to Balanced Chakra, is a network dedicated to bridging the gaps of abundance, creativity, and knowledge through chakra balancing and awareness. Here on Chakra Light Radio Podcast, we deal with 7 primary chakras. The first chakra that we deal with here is your root chakra. The color is the energy color that's associated with this chakra is red. And this has to do with your stability, your security, your foundation in life. And today we're actually talking about the root chakra, but we're not just going to talk about emotional things. We're going to talk about some physical ways to balance your root chakra. So stay tuned and you'll find out just how deep we're going, okay? The second chakra that we deal with here on Chakra Light is your sacral chakra. The color associated is orange, and this has to do with your emotional stability in life. The third chakra is your solar plexus chakra. The color is yellow. This has to do with your power, your confidence. The fourth chakra is your heart. This has to do with love and compassion. The color is green. The fifth chakra is your throat chakra. It's light blue, and this has to do with your ability to speak your truth and be vocal, whether that's singing or talking a lot or just really being you through your voice. Your sixth chakra is your third eye chakra. This has to do with intuition, your psychic abilities, seeing things that are beyond what you're in the physical realm. The seventh chakra that we deal with here on Chakra Light is your crown chakra. The color is violet or white, a purple color. This has to do with your connection to source, your connection to God, Allah, the spiritualness of that connects us to be one, something that's beyond just you, something that connects us all together. I am so happy that you're here. And not only am I happy that you're here, but I am happy to have our guest insider, Mr. Ed Sullivan. Hi, Ed. How you doing?
Hello, Juanine. Wow, we're here.
Yes, we are here. So I've got to tell you guys a little story about how I met Ed, okay? It's going to be a short story so that we can get into the whole nature of our talk today. But as many of you know, I have been on this spiritual journey for almost 4 years now, to my spiritual awakening. I had this huge awakening almost 4 years ago. My whole life changed. I became a brand new person, which is the person that I've always been, but it's been covered by facades and judgments and all kinds of stuff. But I uncovered that and let myself grow into my highest self, and I'm still growing. But I went on a path. I gave away everything in my house. I went on this journey from one place to another. I ended up in Washington, a state I've never been in before. And a long story short, we'll talk about my story later, but I was walking in Washington, and I was learning how to listen to my inner self. And I took every left and right with where my intuition, my higher self told me to go. And at the time I was a vegetarian, and my intuition led me to this McDonald's. And in my mind, I was like, I don't eat McDonald's. You hear me? That is so funny. But it went in there. By this time I had already been walking and really understanding how to hear God, my higher self, understand how my faith works. So I knew the sign was leading me to McDonald's. There was this gentleman in McDonald's. For one, I ate some pancakes, and those pancakes were so good because I had been walking for over almost 48 hours. And so I was really, really, really hungry. And those pancakes was the bomb. You hear me? From McDonald's, yes, and a cup of coffee. But there was this man sitting across from me, and I just could not stop staring at him. There was something that looked so much more than beyond what my eyes could see. And I couldn't help but to start talking to this man. And what do you know? I met a genius. True talk. I met Ed Sullivan. That's what he has on his voice now. And I call him Ed the Great. That's right. And we just hit it off because we have so many parallels with our beliefs and experiences that we had. And we've just been really, really great friends since then. And I could tell you story beyond story, and you'll hear them at some point, maybe in the book that I'm writing. But that's how I met Ed. And so we've been really good friends, and we've talked about so many things. And yes, Ed, look, we're here. So Ed is going to talk with us today about our root chakra. And so, as you guys know on Chakra Light, I just have conversations with my friends like I normally do. And I just have to share this insight because the conversations we have are just so doggone dope. So Ed was telling me, okay, so there was this conversation that we were having what was it, like 5-6 months ago, Ed? Something like that. And the poop conversation.
You dropped off for a second.
Oh, I'm talking about the poop conversation. Ed, can you hear me? Yeah, the poo.
Yeah, poo, yeah. I thought we were going to do the poo chakra today. That's what I thought.
That's what we're doing. So I'm just hipping everybody to the game. I gave them a preface of how we've been talking and how we got here today. And so, anyway, Ed and we were having this conversation, and he was telling me this great story about how he discovered to use his poop as an enlightenment source, to say the least. And so me and Ed are going to talk about it, and you can get a better understanding from him directly. However, I thought it would be great because our anal source, it's all in the root chakra area, because the root chakra is located right at the coccyx. It's at the base of your spine. So usually we've been dealing with a lot of emotional things on the radio show, but we're going to get really physical today because you have body parts and organs that are in the areas of your chakras that are affected, and they do start with some sort of emotional imbalance. And if it's an imbalance, then you can have a physical ailment from that. But Ed is going to tell us how our poop and having the experience of actually releasing the negative energy or whatever, how it can help us balance our root chakra. Okay, does that sound a little right, Ed?
That sounds right, on a lot of levels. So, and we discussed a few of them. So, let me start by saying that there's a discipline, and I call it reverse baptism.
Okay.
Baptism, being the first sacrament, deals with the first chakra, and in baptism, the newborn soul is invited into the community of spirit. The community of human beings.
Okay.
And a commitment is made to bring this new soul in with all the values and acculturations of the tribe. So there's that part, and then there's the reverse. So the reverse is, at least for me, is wherever you're at in your life, no matter how bad it is, you signed up for it.
Wow.
There's no mistake that the shit you're in, perfect shit for you to be the key to release and moving through it. So, for instance, I had appointments today. I'm in foreclosure and bankruptcy, and all I need is another distraction to keep me from finishing these profit and loss statements, and yet I could resist it, or I could say, this is just my day. This is what I need from me right now, and see it as a blessing that it is, and move from that place rather than that it was dropped on me and I have no choice, and I want out of here.
Right.
So in any situation, you have that you can either fight or flight, or you can orient yourself to the perfection that it already is. Stretch, but you'll find that when you entrain the makes you want to run or fight, activate that survival mechanism, or flight mechanism, which the first chakra is a powerful harbinger of, right? It's being a good animal and protecting yourself and survival. Sometimes you can harness the survival techniques to lift you up and to a higher level. And that's what the reverse baptism does for me. It's like taking that fear and driving it and turning it into excitement and turning it into a wonder and turning it into a gratitude for where I'm at, which is what I had to do several times today, by the way, to get to this appointment.
Well, we're so glad that you're here. And thank you for being so honest as well, because there's so many of us that are dealing with, you know, a landmine of just crap in our life. It feels like a big pile of crap that we're dealing with, but nobody wants to talk about it or be honest about it. And the first step, I do agree, is taking responsibility for the crap that we made, right?
That's a good point.
And so yeah, I'm here with you.
Yeah. All right. So I pride myself, or at least I've struggled a long time with how do I take these principles, right? For instance, of this reverse baptism. Well, how does that birth look like in me? Like, what is it? I mean, in our culture and in mine, particular individual culture, there's a lot of things I don't even know about myself, and I can barely get in touch with. And once in a while, I get this great blessing of some kind of light that shows me that I'm doing something right. And what the light has showed me so far is that I can pre-stress myself. So I can use like my basic physical urges and kind of like up the ante a little bit. So I might be thinking about problems in my life, you know, like employment or bills, or like I mentioned, the banks, and what I do, I'll stretch out. I'll put myself into a long, like martial arts stance.
Okay.
Until I start to feel a burn, and then whatever those were. All of a sudden, they have a physical location in my body, and I can feel this hurt, and I can think about it, and I can kind of like I can transfer it into my physicalness, so that and I can flex it. I can go deeper, and I can push it. So it's like just like my body. It could be a source of pain that's on me, or I could actually be intentionally kind of priming it. And the same thing with my worries. I'm kind of just edging on, you know, sometimes they're nipping at me in the background, and I'm worrying about, but now I get this long stance, I'm feeling this burn, this kind of hurt, and I want to move, and it kind of aches, and then I put my relationship, or lack of thereof, into the ring.
Okay.
And I put my lack of money, and I got the bills, and I'm feeling that pain in my legs, and it hurts, and I just let it build up, and then I'll give it a voice, and just kind of give it like really low, not try to explain it, just analyze it, and like and I'm not Omi, I'm not making it pretty, I'm not trying to make it anything that's going to win any awards, but it is what's in there. And I find if I could find that song, as sad as it is, as terrifying as it is, that there's power in that. And when I touch with that power, and pretty soon that's that switch that it goes from like a vice into a virtue, and pretty soon I'm singing, and I'm using that energy that was pulling me down and pushing me back. It's pulling me forward and lifting me up. Yeah, I said that good, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, Ed.
Yeah.
So what does the martial arts stance look like?
Oh, well, it could be a circumstance or anything that